Let's talk about Sharenting. Sharenting amidst a pandemic, making sense of parents sharing their children's photos online during quarantine and implications in a post-lockdown world. The entry point of this think piece is the context when a pandemic meets the era of sharing. Sharing is one of the most common themes observable in the everyday life during the coronavirus pandemic. People share spaces at home and share their lives on the online world. To be sure, even in the pre-pandemic world, sharing has been central to how people live, be it about living spaces such as Airbnb or transportation such as Uber or sharing digital data on your favorite social media. Human relationships are also enriched through sharing thoughts and feelings. Yet, sharing took a whole new meaning upon the advent of the coronavirus pandemic. The private spaces shared only at home have extended to the digitally shared world, while isolation has also been salient because distancing has to be practiced. Cyberspace offers a space to share private lives. Given that sharing of private lives has expanded with the rise of the digital media, it is not surprising to see that sharing private lives took the online community by storm during the pandemic. Even children's lives and spaces have expanded online during the lockdown. It then becomes interesting to explore the act of parents sharing their children's everyday spaces online during the coronavirus pandemic quarantine. Of particular interest is the concept of sharenting, or the habitual use of social media to share news, images, etc. of one's children. Through the use of social media, a space has opened for parents to share experiences from groups to support each other around the theme of parenting. With this, perhaps it's worth asking two questions. First, how do we make sense of sharing children's spaces online? And second, what are the implications of sharenting to a post-lockdown world? A short response to this is the positioning theory's notion that individuals position themselves and others via images, metaphors, storylines, and concepts. This lens explains how the online mode of communications created new constellations of shared experiences, meanings, and memories of the lockdown. Parents who engage in sharenting position themselves and their children into digital frames. Comments, suggestions, and other opinions co-create the meaning of what was posted about children's spaces. Nussbaum also writes that positioning happens when participants move from the contiguity in images to the inhabiting of a shared picture. As such, those who take part in online communities, whether as a critique or as a supporter, move and position themselves in the construction of representations of children in their spaces. The shared picture enables parents to see their children's lives, sentiments, opinions, and other matters in lieu of physical chat and gatherings. So what's next for digital geographies? Perhaps the next agenda is to unpack what frames the experience and meaning of children's spaces in a quarantine and the ways in which sharing a space can be depicted, negotiated, and even resisted at the interface of mediated communications.